Blue Box follows a first-year badminton player named Taiki Inamata who constantly tries to be the first one in the gym for open practice, but he's always second to a second-year basketball player named Chinatsu. Seeing her constant determination and diligence day in and day out, he slowly develops feelings for her. There couldn't be a wider social gap between them. There's an age gap, a skill gap, and a popularity gap. Next, Chinatsu's gonna be playing Hullbreaker Graves wearing a top gap tank and yelling, "Don't put down! Don't put!" Despite Chinatsu being way out of Taiki's league, he strives to be someone worthy of being with her. In face of his efforts to get closer to her, Chinatsu's family has to move abroad due to work. Wanting to keep her dream alive and attending nationals with her basketball team, Chinatsu reveals she'll be living with a family friend while her parents move away. It turns out that Taiki's mom and Chinatsu's mom were teammates in high school, and Chinatsu moves in with Taiki and his family. Thus, a cohabitation romance can start to bloom. I realize it sounds a little like the plot to Domestic Girlfriend, but hopefully there isn't a plot twist of the two being blood-related down the line. Or maybe you're into that. I don't judge. While Blue Box is a sports manga, the sports setting is more used as a vehicle for romance. And rather than this just being a badminton manga, the story also includes basketball and gymnastics, although it hasn't gone fully into depth into the rules or mechanics of the sports like Haikyuu would. Rather, the story is relatively simple, but there's a lot to love about it. It's able to capture that feeling of naive high school life without being too overbearing or cringy. It feels realistic. Having a crush, going out with friends to different places, and just trying to figure out your place in the world. A time where it felt like you were living in another world, entirely different from the one you live now. Is real life just one big isekai? The art is also fantastic. I mean, look at this smile, and this smile, and this smile. But a recurring theme from each of the characters is the emphasis on achieving their dreams. Taiki has the ultimate dream of getting to nationals, and I can definitely relate. When I was in high school, band was the only thing that was on my mind. I was the stereotypical band nerd. As a trumpet player, I did wind ensemble, marching band, jazz band, British brass band, and pit orchestra. The times I wasn't eating, sleeping, or playing League, I spent practicing and thinking about music. There was a national honors band, but like in other high school sports series, you had to qualify, and only the best of the best even had a chance of auditioning. I had dreamt of being able to reach the top, competing at that level and living that shonen protagonist life. But I never did. Despite countless hours of practicing, listening to other players, and taking notes of what I could improve on, I could never reach the apex. Maybe it was a mix of nerves, being underprepared, others simply being better, or judges wanting something different. But I managed to get into District's honored band 3 out of my 4 years of high school, and my sophomore year I was 1 chair away from being able to audition at the all-state level. Granted, my district was the most competitive one in the state, but I won't make excuses or huff that sweet copium. It's hard to do a solo activity and fail since all the blame is placed on you. In a team activity, there are so many more factors, and maybe you can shift some of that blame away from you. You can brush things off as being out of your control. But when it's your audition or your game, you're the sole owner of your success or failure. Chinatsu even asked Taiki if he considered being part of the basketball team, but he declined, saying that he would prefer to be alone and would rather shoulder all the responsibility by himself. Blue Box originally started off as a one-shot, with Taiki being a volleyball player. In the actual series, he plays badminton, which is a change I really like. Maybe the change was made to differentiate the series from Haikyuu, but most of the matches he plays are one-man matches with the occasional doubles match. Instead of having to deeply dive into a broader cast of 6+ characters in a match, we get to just focus on Taiki and his mental state. In most of his matches though, there's a noticeable lack of inner monologue. While there's still the typical shonen shot calling, Miura draws these beautiful panels capturing the movement of badminton. The power of a swing, the reach of a lunge, the speed of the birdie, all of this with the intensity of the player's desire to win and hit an unreturnable attack to get the edge in a match. Win or lose, there's always a bright look in Taiki's eyes. Even though he's the typical good-hearted protagonist you usually find in a shonen manga, there's something I find special about his character that I can't quite put my finger on. He doesn't feel like a self-insert either, just a well-natured kid that you can't help but root for. Blue Box is a fantastic manga. It's currently serializing as the writing of this video, and although the main goal of the story is for Taiki to go to nationals, I'm sure that's something that can be resolved by his second year to account for pacing so Chinatsu can still be in his life. So I'm not sure what the end goal of the series will be. Maybe it's winning nationals, maybe it's playing at the collegiate or professional level, or maybe it's just as simple as him ending up with Chinatsu. Although only time will tell where the romance aspect of this series will go. And best girl of this series is really hard to pick. I really like Chinatsu, but Hina is also really cute. They have the older and the younger sister type of energy, respectively. Kinda like domestic girlfriend. Huh. Hopefully the manga can live out its runtime and reach a satisfying conclusion and maybe even get an anime adaptation. And if you haven't read Blue Box, I highly encourage you to give the first few chapters a read. It's just the feel-good romance that will pull at your heartstrings in the best way possible. Anyway, that's all I have, so to wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for watching, and until we meet again, take care everyone.